So after seeing Godzilla Minus One and also taking a little bit of time to think about it, it kept making me wonder about Hollywood. Specifically, Japan telling Hollywood to hold my beer. I'm gonna go over some of the things that really made me wonder how this movie was made, especially when you compare it to Hollywood. So let's start off with the budget. So the reported budget for this movie is around $15 million. Now, if you were to include marketing and the profits of the theaters, maybe they would probably have to make 30 to 50 million dollars to break even. That's kind of like my thought. And even at that rate, that is not even a fraction of what normal American produced Godzilla kaiju movies make. For example, all the MonsterVerse movies from Legendary Pictures, their budget is typically around 150 million to 200 million, and that's not including things like marketing and share of profits with theaters around the world. And so in that case, for most of those movies, they probably need to get around a $300 million range just to break even. And then whenever you factor that in, and then you see a movie like this, if somebody didn't tell you that this was made for around $15 million, you would think, yeah, this movie probably cost hundreds of millions of dollars to make. And man, whenever you watch this movie, especially on a big theater, on the biggest screen and best sound possible, and then I think about the Legendary Pictures, I would say this one, in my personal opinion, is the best out of all of them. And a great example of how the special effects and visual quality of Godzilla Minus One absolutely trounces most of what's done in American movies is the simple fact that when you're watching it, you forget that the special effects are there. That is like the general rule for me whenever I'm trying to measure the overall quality of the visual effects, is in the fact that I don't really think about it and I get lost in the film. And as I was watching Godzilla Minus One, that is how I felt throughout pretty much the whole movie. From Godzilla to the ships to the buildings being destroyed, the people, all of that definitely had a lot of special effects elements. But for me, it was done so well that I simply forgot about it, and I just really got thrown into this world and just loved every second of it. And that, I would say, is the mark of really great special effects whenever you don't realize they're there and you don't really think about it and you focus purely on the movie itself. And then another really powerful element of any movie, regardless of the budget, is having a strong story and characters that you actually care about. And in this movie, man, this is a movie that really focuses on the human elements. And I gotta tell you, man, the characters in this story, they felt like real people. People that you could actually relate with. And I would say the acting in this is superb. From the main actor to the main actress and everybody else involved, I really cared about them. I didn't want them to die. I didn't want anything bad to happen to them. And I really can't say that at all about the other Godzilla movies coming out of American studios. And as a matter of fact, I don't recall any kaiju, Godzilla monster movies that I gave really any thought to the humans. I just thought they were there to just get killed. But in this movie with Godzilla Minus One, from the moment you first see the characters to the end, they have this evolution, they have this change, and this is something that I think most people can relate with, especially when they go through a lot of horrific times. And with our main character, he is suffering from many things, including PTSD from the war, from Godzilla, so many feelings of guilt, of shame, and there's just so much of that in this movie. And nobody here is really unaffected by it. You could see how the events of the war, of Godzilla, and all these things affect every single character, and it motivates their action, which is so, so important. So at the end of the day, having a strong story and most importantly, strong characters that you truly care about is really what makes you love a movie. And in this case, it really elevated Godzilla Minus One from just a simple kaiju monster movie to a great film. And then yet another thing that this movie does so well that most modern Hollywood movies absolutely fail at is they focus purely on telling a wonderful story with characters that you love versus putting in all this other stuff like political stuff, messaging, ideology, all of this stuff that is really unnecessary. And at the end of the day, I come to a movie for one thing, and this is what the movie does the best, and that is to entertain you. When you go watch a film, you watch a show, you want to be entertained. You want to escape from your everyday life. And that's the beauty of movies and shows when they have great story, great characters, and all the other technical elements combined to tell a story that takes you to another world. And that is the best thing that Godzilla Minus One does. Whenever I went to this movie, in general, that's what I was wanting. I think everybody wants that. But for the most part, with most modern movies, I'm always thinking, am I going to get that? You know, and that's kind of why most of the time I go to movies, I kind of always have that feeling. And I'm like hesitant sometimes to go watch a movie in the theaters. But in this case, Godzilla Minus One over-delivered on all of those things. And that's why I really feel whenever you go watch this, and I highly recommend that you do, just go there knowing that you are in good hands with people who actually want to create something for you to entertain you, and also bringing you to the wonderful world of Godzilla, Kaiju, Japanese cinema. It's absolutely a wonderful experience. Now, if you did want to see my review of this, I will leave it in the description area below. And if you actually had any thoughts on this or any other Kaiju, Godzilla, monster movies that you've enjoyed, be sure to leave that in the comments area below. So as always, if you did get value out of these videos, be sure to share, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you on another episode. For serious YouTubers, check out TubeBuddy, the premier tool news at geekoutdoors.com. Get more done today by checking out the affiliate link in the description area below.